Hello Indie Game fans, it's already December next week and seems like the last major push for releases, so we do have quite the jam-packed video today. Don't worry, there will always be something new each and every week, but for now, let's get into this edition of Indie Gaming this week. The one thing that I love about indie games is that there's always something new and surprising releasing, with the Tides of Time being just that this week. This is an action-adventure title which I've decided to cover here rather than in yesterday's video, where you play as a young farmer who is the only one that is able to solve the strange happenings that occur on the day of the Red Sun. Lovely look, although I'm not quite sure if it'll make it to release this week. I've mentioned El Hijo, a Wild West tale when looking forward to games of the month, but this got a fancy new trailer which I had to show off. You play as a little boy searching for his mother, who has to find his way through perilous deserts, fields, mines and more. It's a stealth title which is rare in this day and age, and this trailer more clearly shows off the dual protagonist setup where there is a woman character as well. It looks pretty nice visually, but as with all stealth games, I do hope that the indicators, whether visual cones or otherwise, are all clearly displayed. Another title previously mentioned, the lovey-dovey RPG Aefen, is finally releasing, coming to us from the developer of the boss rush title Fury, and has you playing as a couple who elopes to an alien planet.
I don't think that's the mom.
All set!
Go, go, go!
This one's mine.
On top of the main narrative arc, you appear to be able to roam the open world, gathering resources, fighting monsters and so on, where the relationship between the characters is the source of their strength. Seems pretty cool and I do hope that it turns out great. For bigger games this week, Chronos Before the Ashes comes to us from Gunfire Games and is the prequel to Remnant from the Ashes, and apparently was previously released in VR only, but now gets a more traditional release, where your protagonist ages 1 year every time that you die, which seems like a neat mechanic.
Before the Ashes is the prequel to the beloved smash hit Remnant from the Ashes, developed by Gunfire. As a nameless hero, your task is to explore the labyrinth and discover its unknown mysteries. The labyrinth is a dangerous place, with enemies lurking in dark places, waiting for their moment to attack. Use a combination of strength and magic to work your way through the maze. Carefully match your weapon with your skill points. Some weapons play towards agility, while others are better for brute strength. In Chronos, understanding your enemies and learning their attack patterns is key to moving forward. Like an intricate dance, you need to master the basics if you want to survive. Techniques like attacking, blocking, dodging, and parrying will be vital. Otherwise, even the simplest foes will take you down. But even the best laid plans can go awry, and success is not always guaranteed. Death is not the end. Upon your hero's reawakening, you'll notice something has changed. Every time you die, your hero grows older. And we all know that aging has its consequences. Failure will be part of your hero's story, and it's up to you to retrace your steps, face your enemies again, and see where you went wrong. Use what you've learned when you meet your nemesis again, but this time, emerge victorious.
Come, listen well. Tonight I speak to you the tale of the Scouring. Long past, world was different. Then came the beasts. Directed by the will of one, the dragon.
It's showtime. There's a whole lot of trouble.
The name is Goldie.
Way down Chicago way. I run the fortune tellers.
John and Brenda Romero are legendary game developers at this point, having worked on titles like Doom, and they decided to create Romero Games in 2015, who have been making cool stuff and branching out, with Empire of Sin being their latest.
Chicago gangsters lack imagination. The best casinos, baby. What more could you ask for? I am a performer by art, but keep my business out of the spotlight. Capone and Angelo don't really know what started their feud, but I do. I poisoned Capone's booze supply and made Angelo take the fall. These people are merely players in my symphony. The world is my stage and I am the star. And we are about to put on a big show.
Goldie thinks she could pull the wool over my eyes. They'll be pulling a body bag over hers.
Capone, soon you'll be throwing yourself at my feet.
I see the alliances she's forging.
I run from nothing. I am Queen of Chicago.
This is a mafia simulator set in 1920s Prohibition-era Chicago, mixing a strategy management layer and turn-based tactics, which seems rather promising.
Salvation. Come and get it. You know you ain't gonna find it in mon chéri. The Empire of Sin.
Okay, this is very not indie, but Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light is the first Fire Emblem game originally released on the Famicom, which has never saw a Western release, but Nintendo has gone ahead to do the work and it's releasing for Switch. This is a really retro title, releasing in 1990, so I thought that it would appeal to indie game fans, but I'm just waiting for the comments to say that this is not an indie game from the people who don't listen to this voiceover. I have to say that I'm not entirely comfortable with promoting this game, since Snapshot Games, makers of Phoenix Point Year 1 Edition, have had a number of, shall we say, questionable business decisions, and the studio did get acquired by Saber Interactive recently, so they are no longer indie.
And this time, the pure will show the path.
The ancients, their extraordinary creations predate human history.
This is a tactics title where this edition packs together all previously released DLC and launches on Steam after being an Epic exclusive, and while it was a little mixed in reviews, it may still be worth a look.
I like it already.
This feels oddly familiar.
Another very weird entry, Sam & Max Save the World Remastered, is being put out by Skunk 8 Games, who are comprised of some former Telltale developers who apparently have the license right now. This is the remaster of the first season of this point-and-click adventure game, and I do believe that a new game is in the works as well.
I'll drive!
Not while I'm alive.
Exactly! I may have accidentally chewed through our brake lines.
Good to have you back, little buddy.
What are we waiting for? Hold it! Sam, I'm getting confused.
You're not the only one, little buddy.
It's like a dream!
The kind where you wake up screaming with a gun in your hand, your pillow torn to shreds, and the upstairs neighbors calling 911.
The best kind!
Classic roguelike wanders onto PC and Nintendo Switch. Shiren the Wanderer, the Tower of Fortune and the Dice of Fate. The Tower of Fortune is home to Riva, god of destiny. Legend says Riva will re-roll the fate of any brave enough to make the climb. But can the future be changed once the die is cast? Shiren sets off on another adventure to discover the truth.
Yet another strange re-release this week is Shiren the Wanderer, the Tower of Fortune and the Dice of Fate, the enhanced port of a roguelike, originally released on the Nintendo DS and PlayStation Vita, but coming to Steam and Switch this week. This is one of the classic roguelike franchises when that genre was still relatively niche, so I guess someone somewhere must have saw some money in this.
The Garden of Destiny is a remix of the main quest with new twists and surprises. There's new features as well. Enjoy your favorite tunes anytime, anywhere with the music collection. The live display mode organizes your inventory and stats onto a single screen, perfect for streaming gameplay. Help other players from around the world with the updated Wanderer rescue system. Challenge fate and fight against destiny.
And finally, we get a new Worms game in 2020, which is pretty wild, with Worms Rumble, one that takes the action into real time but seeming to feature familiar weapons like the sheep launcher. This is an arena action platformer supporting up to 32 players and is at least a change of pace. Back to indie games, and if you enjoy surviving crafting titles like Terraria or Forager, then Tinkertown might be of interest to you. This is a multiplayer sandbox experience where you gather ingredients, craft, build and fight enemies with a wonderful pixel art look which I love. My concern with this is the structure of the game, if it is truly just a sandbox that lets you free, or if there's a main quest or a narrative hook, so we'll have to see on this. One of the best looking platformers in recent memory is Crumble, a very fast and challenging entry where you combine rolling like a ball, jumping and grappling onto amazing looking crumbling levels. Pretty impressed with the tech, and I do want to give this a shot. A cool pixel art adventure game that's coming out this week is 9 Witches Family Disruption, so I'll leave you to the narrator.
October 1944. Something paranormal is happening in Sunday, a rustic Norwegian village. Cradle of the delicious three-testicled salmon. A secret German division commanded by the fearsome General Friedrich von Darq forces a hermit witch to unleash an ancient curse in a desperate act to twist the course of the war. Since then, a mysterious dark moon hangs over the sky, generating uncertainty among its inhabitants. Meanwhile, in London, a quadriplegic professor of occult science and his Japanese assistant with bleached hair are sent to Sunday on a low-budget mission to save the world from chaos and destruction. 2 playable characters with different abilities. Explore Sunday, a vast, bizarre place full of secrets. Meet a quirky cast of characters, dead and alive. Face the most devilish machinery ever created. Attend an electronic dance party that proclaims the end of the world.
You, my child, have much to learn about drifting. So very much to learn.
For smaller games this week, the Zen racing game Absolute Drift gets ported to Switch and is my go-to recommendation for a drifting game. Biz, the Forgotten Past Prologue is the demo of a vibrant pixel art action platformer with 7 stages, so of course I'm interested due to the look. Aefen Fall is a first-person parkour platformer set in a diesel punk world and looks like it might be cool. Another Kairosoft title gets ported to Switch with Biz Builder Delux, where you're running multiple stores instead of just one business and has their trademark look. Factorio has ignited my love for automation systems in games, with the puzzle-focused block motion being of interest. Some of you may remember the Creeper World series from Flash game history, with Creeper World 4 being the latest release, which takes the series into full 3D. If you're not familiar, this is a city builder tower defense game of sorts, where your enemy is the Creep, a purple fluid that grows and washes over everything, where you have an arsenal of weapons and towers to slowly fight back against this threat. Really nostalgic, and it's nice to see it in 3D, so wishing this developer all the best. The creepy horror adventure game Darq gets a complete edition, releasing on PS4 and Xbox One, and having made my best horror games list, do check this one out. Get Ogre It gets a spot simply due to the name, but this seems like a non-combat focused turn-based roguelike, which looks pretty neat.
Wick.
The epic exclusivity of Wick Hex also expired, so it's coming to Steam, and if you have not checked out this tactics title, it's certainly worth a look.
John Wick Hex is an innovative tactical game where players manage the time it takes to complete a physical action instead of turns. Not only do you need to face brutal opponents, but you must also fight against the clock. Time, options, and resources are limited, so use them wisely. By managing time, the game puts players in the strategic mind of John Wick to pull off impressive feats. But to play like John Wick, you must think like John Wick. Spend the gold coins you earn to gain and keep the upper hand. Visit the tailor shop to look stylish and stock up on weapons and bandages that you can stash in levels for upcoming encounters. Be aware of your surroundings. Always plan 5 steps ahead as you take down enemies on your way to Hex, an international mastermind. When things go your way, watch the action unfold as you set out to dismantle Hex's network of underbosses. And when everything else fails? By thinking strategically, players will go through multiple complex combat scenarios and track down Hex in an all-new chapter in the Wick saga.
Khimera Destroy All Monster Girls is a fun, free, Mega Man-like action platformer, so when I came across Khimera Puzzle Island, the Picross game, I had to give it a shout out. Liberated Enhanced Edition launches on Switch, which adds 2 new epilogue chapters and is a very stylish comic book action platformer.
Stay right there, scumbag. This could all end if you just give us some names.
Oniria Crimes is a voxel detective game where you solve a number of murders with both point-and-click and puzzle elements. love the look of Ponpu, which claims to be using Bomberman style mechanics in a whole new way, and there's even multiplayer support as you go on a quest to defeat the Darq god. Project Wingman is a super slick looking flight and dogfighting simulator and might just give East Combat a run for its money.
About time. Comic engaging. I expected better from the welcoming party. Monarch Fox 1. Turn him down. Watch him fly. Ground unit destroyed.
I'm not really into 4X strategy titles, but I do admire them from a distance due to how complex it may be to balance everything, with Shadow Empire being of interest this week.
Set on a distant planet over 6,000 years in the future, Shadow Empire gives you the chance to lead a small city of survivors after a terrible civil war destroyed a once proud galactic republic. Your task will be to survive and rebuild civilization, and nothing will be spared to you in this great journey, as Shadow Empire offers one of the deepest and most flexible ranges of decisions ever created. Recruit leaders and appoint them to become zone governors, council directors, army commanders, or advisors, but watch them carefully. Unsatisfied leaders could leave you, rebel, or turn corrupt. Leaders band together in factions to join their forces to demand things from you, like a specific zone to conquer or a special policy they want to see in place. Take critical decisions for your nation and people through a wide array of stratagem cards. They are designed to help you cope with multiple and different situations, such as establishing diplomatic relations with other nations, attaching special units to your troops, reward loyal subjects, and more. Extend your logistical network capabilities by building roads, railroads, truck stations, and supply bases. Logistics is taken seriously in Shadow Empire. Witness a realistic supply model where lacking enough quantity of some crucial resource or outrunning your supply network always has consequences. Lack of food will lead to hunger, starvation, and in the end will kill your troops and populace. Scarcity of fuel will stop your tanks, while a low level of ammunition will decrease enormously the combat worthiness of your troops. Prospect for water, metals, oil, and even radioactives in inhospitable locations and mine them to fuel your industries and your lust for expansion. Scavenge the ruins and even discover archaeological finds. Shadow Empire employs a detailed combat resolution mechanic that takes into account factors as posture stratagems, morale, supplies, concentric attack, entrenchment, leader skill rolls, and more. This is one of the most ambitious games ever designed, immersing you in a hard and challenging fight for survival on a faraway alien planet.
I love city builders, so Sumerians caught my eye. This looks very much like the old Sierra classic Referral, but with more of a low poly look, and instead of Egyptians or Greeks, which is common, this is instead set in ancient Mesopotamia, which is refreshing.
Today, Anton Rain has been elected president. The people have spoken.
Suzerain puts you in charge as the president of a fictional country, so it is up to you to make the difficult decisions to move the country forward.
Civil wars and shifting ideologies. Today, we embark on a new era for the country. A time of hope and change. But make no mistake, change does not come easy. How will President Rain pull our country out of ruin? Can he stimulate our economy? Advance foreign relations? Reform our broken constitution? Mr. President, it's time to address the nation.
I'm a little bit cheesed off at the developer of Tallowmere 2 Curse of the Kittens, who just threw up a 5-minute gameplay compilation instead of a proper trailer, but this roguelike platformer looks alright, with the original being well received. Tanuki Sunset is a strange trick racer where you play as a skateboarding raccoon, pulling off tricks in some interesting environments. The stealth immersive sim Wildfire was well received when it launched on Steam earlier this year, where you have the ability to manipulate the elements, with the console ports launching this week. Into the home stretch with Fox, a colourful co-op puzzle adventure game where you play as a two-headed dog. While it can be played solo, this is probably best with a friend, where the main dog character simply looks adorable, and hopefully the puzzles are fun in this.
flesh, the mind will fall. Slay the seven. Save us all. Fulfill what others failed to do. Mornia depends on you.
The no-brainer pick has to be Morbid the 7 Acolyte, which I previously gave the #1 spot when previewing Games of the Month, but for the sake of variety, I've decided to shuffle things around. It's a Souls-like action-adventure game that more or less looks like Bloodborne but in 2D, with a Diablo-style inventory system and some awesome pixel art. I've been looking forward to this, so not much more to say, and I believe many of you are eager to check this out as well. Happened to come across House of God on Twitter and was smitten by the trippy visuals, coming to us from developer Glass Revolver, who just put out the boss rush title Ita earlier this year. This is an action roguelite which has an amazing noisy look, where I am concerned about the readability of this title, but I do have faith in this developer, although they do say that it's meant to be a smaller experience.
Amy, this is Houston. Do you copy?
Houston, this is Amy. I copy.
Roger that, Amy. Very good. I'm Dr. Nathan Foster. I lead the team here at ISA that built you. Can you state your primary directive?
My mission is to terraform Mars. This will enable humanity to become an interplanetary species. For hundreds of years, our attempts to settle Mars have failed. This time will be different. This time we will not fail.
It's Control. Do you read me?
Loud and clear, Lieutenant. Is everything okay?
We close off with an amazing looking city builder, Per Aspera, which I believe means through hardship in Latin, where you have the task of building a colony and terraforming Mars. It has a very interesting look, with hopefully some interesting base building systems, since you're not just concerned with one city, but the entire planet instead, with a threatening presence to deal with as well. Love the genre plus the look, taking the #1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos, and I will see you after the jump.